Hey everybody. Today I'm going to tell another story from my Tales of a Psychic Medium series. Today I'm going to tell I'm going to tell a story about when I did an animal communication or an animal reading at a barn. It's kind of funny. A friend of mine called and she had asked if I could read for her horse. And I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, I could see if he wants to talk to me. So I did a reading for her on him prior to the story I'm going to tell. And so it's funny about horses. Horses take themselves very seriously and they get their feelings hurt very easily. So if you're a horse owner, you should know this about them. They are very sensitive and they have a lot of pride. So anyway, I was reading for her horse. And then she had me ask him this question, and he got one, and it was kind of a rude question. And when he turned his butt to us and had nothing else to say to us after she asked that question, he absolutely was done talking to me and her. But the story I'm telling is she invited me to a barn that she was leasing a field at, and I was going to read for some of the horses at the barn. The funny part was when I show up, it was like all the animals knew. It was like a herd of them came out of the barn at me like, oh my God, it's the lady who can talk to us. It was really, really funny. The only one who was not friendly was the cat, which is funny because when you read for cats, they do not repeat themselves more than twice. If you don't get it, they're done. They're tired. They don't have any interest in what you have that you care. They don't care. Anyway, so the first one I do is they had this cute little buckskin pony. And I honestly cannot remember his name, which bugs me. But the funny part was, I don't know why, but I had an urge. I had a stuffed purple unicorn. So I had an urge to take the stuffed unicorn with me. So I go and I come up to him, the first reading I'm going to do, and he took the stuffed unicorn and was just swaying with him as he talked to me. Like he was a little kid with the toy. So I looked at him and I said, so what do you have to say to me? And I kid you not, it was like a little boy voice in my head says, my mommy died. And I'm like, your mommy died? And I hear it again, my mommy died. And so I'm looking at his owner and I said, did he have an owner pass before you? He's talking about his mommy died. And she said, no, I'm his only owner. And I said, well, it's weird he's talking about that. And then she finally clues in. Well, yeah, his mother, she foundered and we had to have her put down when he was about 9 months old. He was still very young and not fully weaned, but we had to have her euthanized because she was suffering terribly. And so his mommy meant his mother, the mare that birthed him had died. And then as I'm talking to him, this picture appears in my head of this gorgeous Palomino mare. She's beautiful in my head, the picture he sent me. He said she was beautiful. And this is literally his little boy voice. She was beautiful. She was a Palomino. And I looked at her and he said that she was a Palomino. And they're looking at my friend who brought me to the barn like, did you tell her all this stuff? And she's like, no, I didn't tell her any of these things. And so it was just really fascinating to me. First of all, it was really cool that all the animals seemed to know what I was there for. All the animals at the barn came charging out at me because they all knew that I was the lady that could talk to them all. But it was just his little boy voice in my head. He had a little boy voice. My mommy died. And it was like, he was just like, she was beautiful. And he remembered her. He sent me a vivid picture of her in his head. And it had been, several years since she had passed. So I just thought it was interesting that we don't think they remember things and it's like time passes differently for them. But I didn't see it that way. I mean, he sent a very vivid picture like he was showing me a photograph of her in my head. And the funny part was he would play with this. He was playing with the fuzzy purple unicorn the whole time, just up and down, like he was a little boy playing with the unicorn. And I want to say at this point he was 5 or 6 years old. So he wasn't like a yearling. He wasn't a baby anymore. He was grown now. but his voice was a little boy voice, which I found fascinating. Anyway, I just thought that is one of the cooler things. I've been on here telling of some crazy cool, readings I've had, psychic experiences I've had, and this is just one of something different. Like with the animal readings, I've been a psychic medium and I've done readings for people. I didn't know if I could do the animal readings. I just tried it out and they talked to me. It's like I tell people, if you go get a reading from someone who is a medium, if they guarantee you they can talk to the person who's crossed, then you should not consider them legit, because it's like a party. You can invite people, but they don't always show up. They'll either come in or they won't. I find most of the time, yes, they do, but I always make sure and tell people there's no guarantee. I can ask them to show up and give you a message, but they don't always do that. This was just a fun story I thought I would share. If you guys have, any questions or want to hear about anything else or have any other interests, let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.